right, let's go ahead and do a quick sound check just to make sure everyone's hearing me okay. We usually get about 1,300 people registering for these events. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a 5-day boot camp here. This will be day 1 of that, and what we're going to talk about today primarily are order types, how you can use them for your order execution, and this will apply to whatever you're trading, whether it's stocks or futures, whatever you happen to be trading. These rules will all apply. All right, so good turnout here today. All right, so today we're going to focus in on order types, how they work, how they can be used. Again, if you have questions, be sure and type them in. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about today are buy stop orders. Okay, so buy stop order is an order where you're placing the order and you're wanting to get into a trade long. And this is assuming that you are not in a position right now. You'd be getting in long only if a certain price is achieved. And the buy stop order, the way that works is if the price is achieved, the price is hit in the market, in this example, 13,822.75. If the market goes up to that level, it's going to execute a market order to buy. Again, this is assuming you're not in a trade right now. All right, so that's the first example of how to use a buy stop order. All right, so I'm going to cover these, and then I'll go through and I'm going to show you some examples of how they're used, how they're executed. And today we'll be using the NaviTrader platform in the ChartTrader interface to demonstrate how to execute these orders. All right, the next thing is using a buy stop as a protective stop, a protective order on a short position. All right, so let's go ahead and assume right now that you're short. In this particular case, it'd be the E-mini. This is an E-mini chart. It's actually from just a few minutes ago. And here we're assuming we're short on the E-mini. And currently the price is 4121.25. And we've got a buy stop at 4122.25. So that's a protective order in case the market goes up. It will exit our short position at 4122.25, and we would have a risk of 1 point in this example. All right, so again, I'm going to go through these different order types, and then we'll go back through and I'm going to show you how to execute them in the NaviTrader ChartTrader interface. All right, so next order type we're going to cover is a sell stop order. All right, so assuming you are not in a position, so in other words, you're flat right now, we can use a sell stop order. We can place a sell stop order below the current market. If the market comes down to that level, it's going to put us into a short position. In this example, 4114.0 would be where we go short, and this would be a market order to go short. Now there is an order type called a sell stop limit as well. The sell stop limit will work the same way, except it will make sure that you get in at 41.14 or a better price. All right, so next sell stop order can be used as a protective stop in a long position. So let's assume right now that we are long. In this case, it would be the NASDAQ. Again, this is a chart from just a little while ago, a few minutes ago. So if we were in a long position here, you can see right now we've got a trailing stop at 13,815.50. All right, so that can be used as your protective stop and or as a trailing stop. Now in the NaviTrader 8 platform, we have the ability to attach an order to an indicator. In this example here, the green line is our NaviTrader NaviPM indicator. All right, so the way that it works is we attach that order to that indicator. As the market moves up, it's going to adjust the stop. In this example, the stop upward. All right, so here's a sell stop being used as a protective stop and or a trailing stop in a long position. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on here. Another order type that you could use is the market if touched order. First one we're going to do here is a buy market if touched. Now, a way that you can use this, again, this would be an example. You can place this buy market if touched order for a long position if the market makes a pullback to whatever entry price that you place the market if touched order. Now again, this green line is our NaviPM indicator line. And the market typically on the volume charts will generally pull back to these signal lines. So if you like entering on a pullback, that's a way that you can use this buy market if touched order. You would attach the order to the indicator. Again, I'm going to show you some examples of this in just a few minutes. See a note, comment from Champ B regarding stop limit orders can sometimes cause you to, well, yeah, not get filled because it doesn't hit your market limit price. Yeah, so I personally prefer on these stop orders to use a market order. That way you're going to make sure you get filled. All right, so that's a buy market if touched. Again, this is assuming that you're not in a position and you'd be using the buy market if touched order to enter on a pullback type price. In other words, in a long position, it'd be pulling back to the downside before you're getting in on your long position. All right, so another way that you can use the buy market if touched order is if you are in a short position, you can use the buy market if touched order as a way of exiting your trade on if you're at your profit target. Now, the buy market if touched order, the way it works is if the market actually hits your price, it doesn't mean you're going to get filled at that price. The market just has to trade at your price. So in this example, 4115.75, if the market trades at that price, it's going to execute a market order to buy. See a question about how would the market if touched order, a buy stop order. In a lot of examples, the price you get filled at on a buy market if touched or a buy stop would be the same price. But in this example I'm showing you here, let's say you're short and the market comes down and trades at 4115.75. It's going to get you out of your short position on a market order. All right, so here's an example, or here's a sell market if touched order. Okay, sell market if touched. This can be used, let's assume right now that you're in a long position and you place the sell market if touched order. In this example, 13,689. 13,689. So if you're in a long position, the market comes up to that and trades at that price, 13,839. You're going to get filled on a market order. All right, so another way that you can use the sell market if touched, let's say you're right now you're not in a position, you're flat, but you only want to go short if the market trades on an upside pullback. Now the reason you might do that is because if you have an indicator such as our Navi PM indicator, it's very typical for the market to pull back to that signal line, which gives you a low risk entry point for a short position. The reason it's low risk is because if we go significantly above that signal line, you want to be out of your short position. All right, so that's the sell market if touched. Again, this is an example where you're not in a position right now. Put in a sell market if touched order at that signal line. If we go up to that signal line, it's going to give you a low risk entry point to go short. All right, so next order type is buy limit. Let's assume right now that you're in a short position. Again, these charts are really just from a few minutes ago. And let's say we're in a short position right now. And we want to cover our short position if the market comes down. In this example I'm using here is 13,735.50. All right, so the buy limit would be a way to exit your short position at your profit target. All right, so the next order type is sell limit. Sell limit order, a way to use that one would be to exit your long position. Let's assume that we are in a long position right now. We want to get out of the trade when we get to 41.20. So we place the sell limit order at 41.20. Currently we're at 41.15.50, so we've got about 5 points. 5-point move up there for the profit target. All right, so that's a sell limit order. Now what I'm going to do now is show you some examples of how these can be executed using the NaviTrader platform. All right, so we'll kind of go back through what we went through before. First order will be a buy stop order. Buy stop order, and we'll assume right now that we are not in a long position. Let's take the NASDAQ chart in the, well, doesn't matter which one we use. Let's take the chart in the upper left. This is a NASDAQ 1000 volume chart. Let's assume we want to get into this trade long, but only if it goes up to a certain level. So we'll just put in a buy stop order. What you have to do is put your mouse pointer or your crosshairs above the current market. You can see the current market is 13,807. So we'll put that order above that level. And we'll put in a buy stop market order. Now the NaviTrader platform, based on where you put your mouse pointer, knows which order types are valid. So it knows that a buy stop market would be a valid order. So place that buy stop order. So now the NASDAQ has to go up to that level before it's going to put us into a long position. And that level is 13,810. All right, so just for the sake of going through these examples, I'm not going to necessarily sit here and wait for the market to go up to that level, but that's how it works. A buy stop level would say, okay, I need to break above that current price area before I'm going to go into a long position. Some traders like getting into trades that way. Main thing with your trades, any of your trade plans, just have a plan and stick to it. So that's how a buy stop order would be executed, assuming that you're currently flat. All right, so another thing that you can do is put in a buy stop order as a protective order on a short position. All right, so on the E-mini chart in the center of your screen on the bottom, we'll just put in some sim trades here just to show you some examples. I'm going to assume that we're short here. So if I want a protective stop, my buy stop order would be placed above the current market, and I can drag and drop that stop wherever I want it, or I can attach it to the red line, which is our NaviPM indicator. To do that, I can hold down my control key on my keyboard, left click where it says buy stop, left click on attach, and then click OK. Now I've got my protective stop on the short position. Okay, so if the market goes up, it's going to hit my protective stop. If it goes down, the system will actually adjust the stop downward automatically. All right, so that's a protective stop on a short position. That's a buy stop order, protective order on a short position. Okay. All right, so the next order type we talked about was a sell stop order. And again, let's assume right now that we are not in a position, but let's say we want to go short if we go to a certain price level. All right, so in the upper left chart, let's assume that I want to go short if I go below that green line. So I'll put my mouse pointer below that green line, hold on my right mouse button, and left click on sell stop. And now it would put me into a short position if I come down to 13,794.50. All right, so short position if I come down to 13,794.50. Okay, so that's how a sell stop can be used if I'm not in a position, but I want to take a short position only if the market comes down to a certain level. All right, so if anyone has questions, be sure and type them in. We're just going to cover all these order types and how they work within the NinjaTrader Chart Trader interface. The charts you're looking at are trend indicator charts and indicators. Again, on a sell stop, we'd have to come down in this example to 13,794.50 before it would put us into a short position. That would be a market order to go short. And of course, we can drag and drop these orders wherever we want them if we want to adjust the price level. All right, so I'm going to cancel that order for now. All right, so the next type, the next use of a sell stop would be a protective stop or a trailing stop on a long position. All right, so on the NASDAQ, we can use that same example in the upper left. Let's say we want to go into a long position. I'll just put in a buy. We want to put a protective stop and attach to that green line, or we can put it wherever we want it. So a sell stop market order, and we can adjust that stop wherever we want it, or we can attach it to that green line and have the system manage the trade for us automatically. Okay, if we want to attach the order to the green indicator line, I can just hold down my control key, left click on sell stop, left click on attach, click OK here, and now my stop is attached to that green indicator line. All right, so that's a sell stop in a long position. All right, so before we talked about the buy market if touched order. And again, let's assume right now that we're not in a position, but we want to take a, let's say we're not in a position, we want to put in a buy market if touched order. We want to attach to this green indicator line. All right, so buy market if touched, I'm going to attach to the green indicator line. If the market trades at that level, it's going to put us into a long position. It's a way of entering a trade on a pullback, if you like entering that way. All right, so it came in on the pullback. And that one I'm going to close right now. I just want to demonstrate that use of that order. All right, so that's buy market if touched on a pullback order. All right, so another way to use the buy market if touched is if you're in a short position. All right, so you're in a short position. We use that same chart example. And we can put in a buy market if touched order below the current market. So if we come down to that level, once the market trades at that price, in that example 13,784.50, okay, it would cover our short position. Okay, so 13,784.50, market comes down to that price, it's going to cover our short position. All right, so that's buy market if touched on a profit target. All right, so the next order type that we talked about was sell market if touched. Okay, so sell market if touched. Now that's assuming the first example here is if you're already in a long position. Let's say we're in a long position right now and we want to take profits if the market trades up to our level. So we put the mouse pointer above the current market, assuming, again, you're assuming you're long right now. Put the mouse pointer above the current market, hold down your right mouse button, and click sell market if touched. Okay, so if the market comes up to that level, it's going to take you out of your trade, your long position at your profit target. So that's sell market if touched, assuming you're in a long position. All right, so next example is a sell market if touched. But we're looking to enter short if the market makes an upside move on an upside type pullback. I'll just show you an example. So right now, let's, in this upper left chart, let's assume that we are flat right now. We're not in a trade, but we only want to go short if the market comes up to that red signal line. So I'd put in a sell market if touched order. I'd hold down my control key, left click on the sell market if touched line, left click on attach. Now you can see too on this screen here it says offset ticks. If I put 0 there, it's going to put the sell market if touched at the indicator line, which is the NaviPM indicator. If I put it at, let's say, -2, it's going to put the order actually several ticks below the indicator line, so I can adjust that. All right, so right now if the NASDAQ decided to go up to 13,804.50, if it trades at that level, it's going to execute a market order to sell short at that level. Now, since we've attached the order to the indicator line, if the market moves down, it's going to actually attach, it's going to actually adjust that sell order downward. All right, so we adjust that sell order downward. All right, so while we're looking at the charts, you can see the E-mini right now is giving us some sell signals currently. All right, so that is the sell market if touched, assuming that we're not in a position right now, but we want to enter short on a pullback up to that red signal line. All right, so the next two order types we're going to talk about are buy limit orders and sell limit orders. All right, so a buy limit order can be used to exit a short position at your profit target. So let's assume right now we're short the NASDAQ. We want to put a profit target below the current market. I would put my crosshairs below the current market. Hold on my right mouse button, left click on buy limit, and now I've got my profit target sitting down here at 13,768.50. Now here you can see in this example too, the NASDAQ actually retraced right up to that red signal line. Remember what we said about getting in short on pullbacks to that signal line. Now if the NASDAQ goes up through that signal line, you don't want to be short anymore, which looks like it's doing right now. All right, so that's the buy limit order. Sell limit order would be used as a profit target. Let's assume you're into a long position. All right, so let's assume we're into a long position and we want to sell and take profits. So we can put our mouse pointer above the current market, hold down the right mouse button, select sell limit, and then we can adjust that profit target wherever we want it. Drag it up or down. All right, so big turnout here today. We're going to do 4 more of these Trader Bootcamp sessions on other topics. All right, so if anyone has questions on any of these order types or how they can be used, or if you've got any comments, I welcome that. Remember what we said about the NASDAQ, it will tend to come back up to that red signal line, which is what it's done so far. Let's see if it either goes up or down here. All right, so I want to thank everyone for joining us today. We do offer these charts on a multi-year subscription, and we do provide unlimited support to all of our customers. If you have any questions about how to get started, let me know. And if anyone would like me to show any other examples, let me know that too. All right, so the NASDAQ in the upper left, you can see the volume chart is still red. When I say red, I'm talking about the actual signal line on the volume chart. All right, so keep an eye on the NASDAQ chart in the left side of your screen. You can see the volume chart is red. Remember what we said about retracing up to that signal line and how it's a low risk entry point? All right, so NASDAQ, again, you can see it retraced up to that signal line. So far it's come down off that signal line. We'll see if it continues in that direction. If NASDAQ were to go lower here, you would get a sell signal in the lower left chart. All right, so if anyone has questions or if you'd like to speak to me personally, feel free to give us a call here at NaviTrader. The phone number is in the chat area. It's also on our website. Again, we will have several more days of these boot camps. This is the first of 5 days, so just please join us for the other 4 days. Next one will be tomorrow. Everyone have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next webcast.